Hello, friends. Welcome to Tabletop Tonight, the AM edition. My name's Ruel Gaviola, and this is Ruel's Wrap Up. This is a monthly show where I hang out and talk about the games that I played in the previous month. If y'all were here yesterday, you heard the games that I was most excited about, or the games that I played in August, and it was the very last day of September. So I just got it in under the wire, and today I am back on schedule. I am talking about the games I played in September. So sort of back-to-back episodes here talking about games, and which is always fun. I love talking about games. So thank you for joining me. Appreciate it. Ben Osteen. Hi, Ben. Yeah, haven't seen you in a while. It's good to see you here, Ben. And Linus Cabal, thank you. Well, hi, Beth. Good to see you as well. I am representing our local gaming cafe here in Southern California, Game House Cafe. We love them. We're so happy that they're still in business. They weathered the storm of the pandemic and closings and everything. But if you can, please, if you're in Southern California, please go support. They're open again for business. They have been for a while now. I do miss getting their pies. Thanks to our great friend Amanda Panda, who would buy pies and deliver them, and that's how we stayed in touch. But good to see everyone here. Fidelia, hello, good to see you as well. Yeah, yesterday I did my games that I played in August, and again, I was right under the wire. I'm trying to do this at the start of every month, but just with road trips and everything else, it was just a crazy month. And I was thinking about that last night. So I went to bed and I was like, you know what? October is going to be just as busy, if not busier for me. So I was like, okay, the one day I can do this is right now, today, the first day of the month. So this is what I just committed to it. And then I figured I got about an hour. I'm going to knock it out because yesterday I talked about 18 games that I played in the 18 different games I played in August. And it took me over an hour and a half. It took me an hour and a half, basically. But what I want to do today is I know John and Amanda are going to go live at noon today, Pacific. So about an hour, less than an hour now with Board Denise LA. They've changed the time of their show then. So I wanted to raid them. So consider me the warm up to our friends, John and Amanda. So we'll be talking about games here. Then they're going to be playing, I believe they're playing the Dinosaur Roar and Write from Pandasaurus. I think that's what I saw posted. But anyways, they're great. So let's we'll hang out here for a bit and then we'll raid them. Let me catch up on chat here. Linnea says, I'm happy to have a nice, relaxing board game stream to sit on. Work has me super stressed. Appreciate the positivity of this whole community. Thank you, Linnea. Yes, we're always happy to be here. And, if you're lurking while working, that's awesome. I do it all the time, especially, pretty much all day long. I'll just, I work from home. But, just having our friends, my friends and other streamers as well, just on the background, it's always nice. To me, like Linnea, it's comforting to me. Ben says, yeah, they did turn Game House into a pie house for a while. Glad they're still going when things are opened up again. Agreed. Yeah, booze, stressful work. Agreed, Beth. Tantaloris is here. Hi, Tantaloris. Good to see you. Yeah, so consider this your comforting board game stream. When I get to, why don't we start with every stream as we always do? Let us know about your stream snacks. I had a breakfast. I didn't really have the best breakfast as I was running late this morning, so I ran out and grabbed McDonald's. I had a sausage, biscuit, and egg. Haven't had one for, I don't know. Honestly, I don't know how long I haven't had one in a while, but, run around. So after I got that, I was like, I felt sort of guilty about getting that and a hash brown. I mean, don't get me wrong. They're delicious. I love those things, but I try not to eat too many of them. So I was feeling a little guilty. So I went to my local tropical smoothie cafe. What I love about the one here near my house is it's a small franchise. I don't know if they're nationwide. They're probably nationwide. But the one near my house, every morning, Monday through Friday, 7 till 9 a.m., they have a happy hour. So these smoothies aren't cheap. They're usually like $7, which is, for me, it's just a bit much for a smoothie. But 7 to 9 a.m. every weekday, half price. So as long as I get there before 9 a.m., I got there like around 8 or so. I got my smoothie, and I'm still working on it. Just like Topo Chico, es muy delicioso. I always get the what flavor is this? This is the one with, it has like kale, some other, like, it's super healthy apparently, but it's got the least amount of calories and it's naturally sweetened, which I like. This is the Detox Island Green. So it's got, I'm going to look it up right now. I'm curious to see what the heck am I putting into my body. Detox Island Green smoothie is spinach, ginger, mango, pineapple, kale, and a little bit of banana. Yep, that's it. Spinach, kale, man, yep, so good. I like it because it's not too sweet, and maybe it's just, I don't know if it's just maybe it's just in my head, right? But I feel like they make me feel healthier or better. Let's see. You should have headed here. Steph is making, oh my gosh, pancakes. Ben, you're killing me. Yum. We had pancakes the other day. Michelle made some pancakes. Were really good. Almost makes waking up for work worthwhile. Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to jump right into it because I know I tend to ramble sometimes. So let's get into the games first before I go. So again, this is my wrap up. The games played during September. I played 20 different games, but there's a little disclaimer. I went to Stonemaier Design Day in St. Louis, and I played, I think, 4 or 5. I think it was 4 prototypes. And they were in various stages of completion. One was like really close to being going to production for a Kickstarter campaign, but I don't know. I didn't feel like it was fair to like rank those within my rankings here, because I know one which I really liked was nowhere near being complete. The designer said, this was like pretty much a really rough draft of what he had, but I thought it was fantastic. And then a couple of the other ones, different stages. So I'm not going to include those prototypes from Stonemaier Design Day. So we'll say those are honorable mentions. The ones I played, I don't remember the names of all of them. I should have written it down, but hey. The one I really liked, and it was a rough version of it, was called Knight Rider. So like Knight with a K and then Rider as in writing. So a great pun, right? So I was all over it. It's a word game, a 2-player word game. It was almost a little bit, got a little bit of combat to it, I guess. Well, not combat. It was because you're not really attacking the other player, but what's really neat is the cards are letters, and you're playing them to create words, like a standard word game. I love word games, so of course this was my jam. But as you play them, if you cannot form a word, you can discard them and draw new cards. But those discards go in an open tableau, so your opponent can take them as well. And then at the end of when you go through the entire stack of cards, you have like a mission that you're completing. It's basically a Mad Lib. So like there's like 3 words or whatever that you have to, like one's an adjective, one's a noun, and then there can be really specific depending on the mission or the quest, right? And I thought it was so much fun. I loved it. I gave the guys some feedback, and the player I played against, we had some feedback for him as well. I would love to see that because I'm such a big fan of word games. So that was probably one of my favorites there. There's a couple of other ones that I won't go into. I think I'll save those for another time, because I'd like to talk a little bit. Maybe I can get hold of the designers and just, I think it'd be neat to like try to contact them, maybe live stream like an interview and just see how their progress is going ever since Stonemaier Design Day. So those are my honorable mentions for this month. Friends, while I'm talking here, let me know in chat, what were your favorite games in September? We've got about 45 minutes to go until John and Amanda at Boarding East LA. So after, as I do my list, then, we could talk about your favorite games as well. Don't forget, stay hydrated. If you have to, you do the stream snacks and enjoy the show. Thank you again for hanging out with me today. This is Ruel's wrap up, the games I played in September. I have ranked these. I did this yesterday for the games I played in August, and I'm going to do this from now on, where I rank the games from my least favorite all the way to my favorite. Again, 20 games I played in September. I played a few of them multiple times, and I don't think there was any game that I did not like. I mean, come on, I'm not the harshest critic. I love games. I'm an Omni gamer, but I definitely have a favorite. But I do have ones that didn't quite gel with me. So let's take a look at those. My number 20 is Renature. So Renature, this I played at Gen Con. This was really neat because I got to share this game with Casey, Brain Jar, Benita, and Reina from 1 Minute Board Games, and it was a fun game. I mean, I love the company. and this is a Michael Kiesling Wolfgang Kramer game. Very, very well respected duo. This game is it's basically like dominoes, and what you're doing, it's dominoes with area control, and it's a really interesting way that you build throughout the map. So the map's preset, and you have to put certain dominoes in certain spots because of their colors. There's a little bit of colorblind issues, but then we realized that certain tiles that you couldn't had a different like pattern. So that one, that I could, so we were talking about that, like how I was like, oh, I couldn't see the green or the red ones, but then I don't know if it was Casey or Raina. They had said, oh, well, look, the green ones have like a river, or a red one had something. So that made it way easier to play. It's a really interesting game. It's got this really interesting mechanism where you can as you're building here, you're trying to get, collect points based on what's adjacent to what. And then as you're building, if you see these down here, I believe these are the ones that actually score, and then you can change them as the game goes on by spending other resources. I think this would be ranked higher on my list because of for one reason. We met up like late at Gen Con. Like I don't even remember what day it was. Was it Friday? Or maybe it's Thursday night, the first night there. So, everyone's excited to be at Gen Con. It's the first night, and you go full force on Thursday. And then at the end of the night, I met up with them in the lobby of their hotel, and we just got a table and we were playing this. And I was so tired, and I had a great time. The company was awesome. I mean, Raina, Casey, and Benita, they're just good people, and I loved hanging out with them. I really appreciate them, inviting me to the game. But for where I couldn't get it wrapped around my head, and we did. It was a sort of rough teach just because it was late, and I think we're all sort of feeling the effects of a long day. But it was. I want to play it again. Just for this list, it ranks number 20 of the games I played here that night. Okay. Tonsalora says, haven't played a lot of different games in September from the one new, Anno 1800. I haven't played that yet. Cartographer's Heroes is so good. Yes. And Demeter. Hey, Gator Dave, thanks for joining us. Let's move on to my number 19 game. Let's see. Where do I go? Okay. Yeah, so I'm just reviewing the games that I played in September, ranking them from 20 through 1. I played 20 different games, a few of them several times each, others just one time. But the number 19 game on my list is Strike. This is an all-time favorite for me, family favorite, always a good time when we get this to the table. I'm trying to remember when I played this in September. It was as a filler somewhere. It could have been several times now that I think about it. But if you've never played it, please do. It's like one of the great, fun filler games. It takes 15 minutes, if even that. I played games that took 5 minutes. You roll dice into this arena. If you make a pair or more, you take those out. Your turn is over. If you don't match anything, you have the option to roll another die or just end your turn. If you roll an X, that X, the die is taken out of the game permanently. And then if you match, if there are no dice in the arena or the tray, then you have to roll the next player has to roll all their dice in there and then do the matching thing. The last player standing wins. It's so simple, but it's so much fun. Did I play this? It might have been during Labor Day weekend. Was that it? We had a really fun Labor Day weekend. Michelle and I went to visit our friends in Big Bear. They have a timeshare out there, and we spent a weekend out there for Labor Day. And it was Michelle and I really got on the charcuterie board trend. We made a big old board of charcuterie, and it was just excellent. We were so proud of it, and we brought board games, of course. So we played a bunch of board games as well, and I believe Strike was one of them. It's always a good time, and whether it's hardcore gamers or casual gamers, it's always a hit. Let's see. Yes, Gator Dave says Strike best dumb game. I love it. I have no problem whatsoever. It's an amazing game. Successful Geek just got mind management to the table and loving. I've heard so many good things about that. I was really fortunate to meet the artist for that. Now I feel bad. We had dinner at Gen Con. Daryl Andrews had invited me out, and I believe his name was Matt. This amazing artist, and he was just so cool. Oh gosh, I'm sorry if I forget the name. Beth says, I think the only new one I played was the new For Sale. Oh, Autorama. How was that, Beth? I'm really curious about that. I missed that when it was out on Kickstarter. We love For Sale. That's one of our favorites. Another one that I always have on hand when we're going to new game, hanging out with family, new gamers, or just like a public game night. But I'm curious as how the Autorama one is. Ben Osteen's got a lot of new stuff here. Castle Party, yes, I saw that. That looks good. Crescent City Cargo, Hibachi, remake of San Fernito. Kabuto Sumo is good, yes. Happy City, I want to play. Doom Machine, Theros. Oh, Bag Builder and Well Riders. Ooh, how was Well Riders? I'm a Knizia fan. The only new game that Anubis played was The Great Wall. Okay, I haven't played that yet. I'm not sure it counts. Only 1/3 of the game is actually new. Got it. Wait, Quanche art? Oh my gosh, you had me at Quanche. Do this. Well, I can be the third copy. I'll buy that. Nice. I remember, Ben, we played your, I think it was the French version. That one has the most beautiful art I've seen for sale. Beth says it was good. You can play the base game with it. It adds advisors if you want, which are interesting to make the low numbers less horrible. Not sure which way I like that. Oh, cool. Okay. Let's go on to my next game. So that was number 19. The next game here I have is, this is another, another light game. This one I know we brought to our Labor Day shenanigans. The number 18 game that I played last month was Roll For It, the Deluxe Edition. A really quick and simple dice chucking game, just like the one we just did, the Strike. But this one has a bit more strategy to it because where Strike feels more of like almost like a dexterity game, right? You're trying, sometimes you want to try to hit the other dice. This one is just straight set collection. You're trying to collect the numbers here that are represented on the cards. The first one to do so, like for this instance, this one, they have 2 1s. This player here would take it, and you get points based on which ones. The ones with more points obviously take more dice, and you roll, you assign dice, and if you get it, then you take your dice back, give your opponents their dice, and get that card. The first one to, is it 30 or 40? I think it's 40. First one to 40 wins the game. It's really straightforward. It's always a good time. Another one that I always have in my bag when I go to family game nights or game nights where I know there's going to be casual or new gamers as well. So Roll For It, Deluxe Edition. The Deluxe Edition just comes in a tin and has like fancier colored dice, I believe. But you could totally, I mean, it's maybe $15 retail. The regular Roll For It, I don't know if it's still in Target. They used to sell for like, I've seen as like low as like $8 or $9, super cheap for a fun little filler game. So that is Roll For It Deluxe. My number 18 played last month. Let's move on to my number 17. And, you know, we were just talking about Push Your Luck. This one is I feel like it's a classic in Push Your Luck. Y'all let me know what you feel. But my number 17 is Deep Sea Adventure. And Deep Sea Adventure from Oink Games, love them all. They come in those little small boxes. They're like this big. And Deep Sea Adventure, excuse me, it's interesting. It's a semi-cooperative game because, actually not semi-cooperative, but you are all tied into like the air supply, right? So you roll dice to go down into the depths here. Oh, there's some gentleman having a good time with it. Oh, is that? Oh my gosh, look at that! They have, where is this at? Is this Gen Con? I don't know where this image is from. 2017 oversized Deep Sea Adventure. That is awesome. Oh, I'd love to play that one. Okay, well, here's the regular game. Everyone dives in the ocean by rolling dice, and these little tokens here are treasures. You'll see, you just, as you go down, you decide, are you going to grab a treasure or are you going to keep going down further and further? Obviously, at the bottom of the ocean, the treasures are worth the most points, but you have to get back up to your little submarine, to the ship where there's oxygen. And for every treasure that you have, -1 on your dice rolls. So as you start going up, it's hard to get back up to the boat before running out of oxygen. There's so many times when usually the first round, whenever I play it with new players, we all just die because everyone wants to go down as deep as they can. Then they forget about, oh, we got to get back up. And the dice, they're 6-sided, but they're only numbered 1 through 3. So the most you could ever roll is 2 3s for 6. And if you have like a couple of treasures, you're losing oxygen. So if I had 2 treasures going up, if I roll 6, I'm actually going 4. And each round that that oxygen goes down by the number of treasures you have. So it escalates quickly, friends. But boy, it's fun. You do it for 3 rounds, and then the highest score wins based on the treasures that you have. A classic, in my opinion, and it is so good. Always a blast as a filler, or just, you know, as part of a lighter rotation of games. Clyde Man, wink, yeah. Oh yeah. I'm gonna catch up on comments here. Well Riders is a pretty quick game that has a lot of Kinesia hallmarks. Yes, push your luck, tension. Players can control the pace to an extent, but with pressure to push ahead. It's a good game, not a great one. This is one that will definitely have a short lifespan, but I won't regret any play. Yeah, that's true of so many. I feel like with Kinesia, well, I mean, there's I love the classics. The classics are always good. I'm actually looking forward. I'm going to play Raw next week. I've got that planned already. So the classics are where it's at. But yeah, Kinesia games they're always good, right? Or most of them, or the ones that I've played. He's got what, 700. I've played a couple, maybe a couple of dozen. Barry says, hello, new to me games we played this month. Oh, Beyond the Sun. I really want to play that. It's a Wonderful World. Excellent game. Love it. I actually want to continue my solo campaign of that. Roll for the Galaxy, another of my favorites. Cascadia, another one of my new favorites. Barry. Space Base, the Shy Pluto expansion. Teotihuacan, and Summer Camp. Oh, so much good stuff. Barry. Summer Camp by Phil Walker Harding. Praise be. I like Ben's comment here. Cascadia is like popcorn. Can play that one at any time and enjoy it. Yeah. Oh, Ben. You all die, float to the surface, and play against the zombies. Oh, that would be an interesting expansion. Well, I know that they have like the space like read theme or expansion for this one, but that would be fun. Play against zombies. I like to be lie my needle down if I've died to indicate my zombie status. Board game spams the house. Yes, another Dr. Kinesia fan. Love Raw. I'm going to be playing Raw with, was it Sam or Tom? Some of the Dice Tower crew. If y'all don't know, I talked about this yesterday, but I'm going down to the Dice Tower next week and playing games with the crew there next week as part of the Autumn Spectacular. I'm super excited. And Raw is one of the games we're going to play. I think it might be the last game that I play. I'm scheduled to play like on Wednesday. So I'm Monday, Wednesday, Friday, or Thursday, or Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. That's what I'll be playing. And I know one of the last games, if not the last game, is going to be Blood Rage with Sam. And I know I'm excited because I love Blood Rage. And I know Sam, that's his game, his favorite game. So I'm looking forward to that. Okay, let's continue here. How much time do I got? I'm keeping an eye on the clock because I really want to be good about this. We are at number 16 and we got half an hour, so let's rip through these. I'll answer more comments towards in a little bit, but thank you, friends, for joining me. Number 16. Oh, this is a game that I played a few years ago at a game night, my local game night, and then I recently got a copy. I remember liking it, but I never played it again just because it just never came back up. And then the pandemic hit, blah, blah, blah. But my number 16 game last month is Fabled Fruit. This is from our designer, Friedman Freeze. And is it just, does he only release games that start with F? Is that his jam, I guess? But anyways, Fabled Fruit is a fun little worker placement game. Card driven. It's got this legacy style campaign to it, where you play, and every time you see these different cards here, there's a little stack. Depending on the number of players, you have a few of each one. You place your meeple here, do the action, gather resources, trade those resources in because you're making smoothies and fruit drinks because it's Fabled Fruit. It's a really fun and cute theme. But once one of these piles is depleted, you bring in new cards from this deck, and they give you different actions. So as you play, you're constantly changing the actions you can do. New mechanisms come in. Michelle and I played the first few games, and I liked it. I think it's super light and super quick, and the art is just adorable, right? I mean, you're making smoothies and drinks in the in the jungle. It's wacky, it's silly, it's fun. Really enjoyed it. Michelle and I were thinking this game probably be the best, like a really good game to stream when we do our streams, or I mean our Meeple Munchies, where we sample snacks. Then we can play a game that's like sort of based on food. So Fabled Fruit from Friedman Freeze. The F is his jam. Oh, and multiple language too. Oh my gosh. Wow. That's impressive. Okay. Let's continue here. My next game is number 15 on my list. Let's see, what do I have? Well, I just talked about this yesterday. This is another game that we brought to our Labor Day or staycation, I guess, because we went to our friend's place in Big Bear. Number 15 is Shipshape. Love this game. Like, I talked about yesterday where I feel like it's so underrated. It's a 20-minute game, set collection and bidding, and you all bid with your pirate cards. The highest number gets to select first. They get to choose their little tile here, which has holes in it because you're trying to cover up the rats in your ship, right? Because the rats are negative points. Then you collect either gold, contraband, or cannons. Each of those scores differently. It's so clever. Like the gold, you just score straight up. You get that many points. The contraband, everyone scores except for the player with the most. So if I had the most, like with 10, Michelle had 8, Bruno had 7. Michelle and Bruno score their 8 and 7. I do not score a thing. And then cannons work a different way. The cannons, you take your score minus the lowest. So if Bruno had 10 cannons, I had 8 cannons, Lauren had 3 cannons, we would subtract the lowest, which is 3. So Lauren would get 0, and then myself and Bruno would get those points. And you played over 3 rounds. It's so fast, but it's such a neat little puzzle, very light, and that is Shipshape. We brought these to our friends. So it was me, Michelle, our friends who own the timeshare, and then another couple. So this plays well at every single player count, 2 through 6. We played at 6. They loved it, and I don't think I've met anyone that hasn't loved this game. It's so good. Ben, I think we might have played it as well. Board Game Spam agreed. Shipshape is so good. Love the physicality of it. It feels very unique. Agreed. Yeah, Beth, highly recommend. And Fidelia, yeah, I'm glad you caught that, Fidelia. Wasn't Shipshape much higher on your list yesterday? How come? That's a great point. Shipshape was, I think, my number 3 or 2 yesterday. But again, as the month goes, I'm ranking these my favorite games played of the month for experience or whatever. And just depending on the list that I had yesterday, for whatever reason, Shipshape just felt like it was just ranked more highly. That being said, I still love it. It's just the way it shook out. I love Shipshape. Okay. Ben brings up a good point. The thing that makes it for me is not all about picking first. Off you on a specific tile, so you need to aim to be second or third. That is so true. And because you can't totally see all the tiles, you're looking straight down on them. You can't always tell, is that what I want? Or is that, like, you can sort of see, okay, that's an empty space. I could probably use that here. So it's a really cleverly designed game. Okay. Excuse me. Let's move on here. We've got, we're on to number 14. Oh, this one. This is a brand new to me game. I was excited to play this one. I'd heard a lot about it, and I got a chance to play it thanks to my friends Derek and Lizzie Funkhauser. They are in Illinois, and after my visit to St. Louis for Stomar Design Day, I rented a car and drove. I was driving to Indy to Gen Con, but I made a stop in Illinois to say hi to the Funkhausers. They're great people. I work with them at the Board Game Spotlight over on Facebook, and it was one of the best things for me during my road trip, because I got to spend some time at their house, not only meeting them and also playing games with them and their son, and also Randall Lloyd. Just a nice way to connect. But Lizzie was so kind. She cooked it was a home cooked meal. She made some pulled pork sandwiches and some pasta salad. And it was just, when you're on the road, y'all know this, like, you can only eat out so many times at a restaurant, right? Michelle and I are foodies. We love going out to eat, but it's not something we do every day because it just, I mean, all the salt, it's just everything, right? It's just a bit much. And just to have that sit down at home with a nice home cooked meal, that really made my trip. So thanks to Lizzie and Derek for hosting me. We played games too while we're hanging out. The one game one of the games that I played for the first time was Canvas. I had seen this, I think, on Kickstarter. Was it last year? Y'all can help me out with this. Just a gorgeous game, right? You are painting. And I don't know why I didn't get this game, because I know this would be Michelle's jam. She loves anything art themed. She's the crafty one in our family. And this is like, it's got the Mystic Veil sort of like transparencies. It's simpler than Mystic Veil. It's set collection at its heart. It's got this really neat thing where you're creating your paintings, right? And as you add the transparencies, they really do start building up into these beautiful little paintings. This is like the colors that you have. You have like different missions that you want to complete as well, and you'll get the the tokens here for points. Wonderful game, plays super quick, a lot faster than I expected. But yeah, as you can see here, you're just adding the little layers. You start to hide symbols as well, so you don't score those. Nice little puzzle. I want to say we played in 30 minutes. It was a 4-player game. It was super fast, but really enjoyed it. So let me know if y'all have played Canvas. Herb's Gambit. Hi, Herb. Says, I love Canvas. Such a simple game. Yeah, agreed. It's just the wonderful, wonderful theme. And then you do have the different scoring options up here. The different ways that you can score depending on what you collected, colors, and so forth. So really enjoy this game. And what's up, Book of Nerds is in the house. Book of Nerds and Amanda Panel will be going live in about 23 minutes. So I'm just talking about the games I played last month. We're going to come out over on the other side. We're going to go raid them. Slackfish. Hi, Slackfish. I've hung out with them a couple times on their streams. They seem really nice. Yeah. Derek and Lizzie, they're the real deal. They're just a kind people. And just fun to be around. We played a few games, and this is the first one on the list that I played. Oh, actually, okay, now that's what I thought. I just recalled Strike. It was the game that one of the games I played with Lizzie and Derek Funkhauser with their son as well, which is a lot of fun. So that's my number 14. Let's move on to my number 13. And okay, yeah. This is another underrated game, in my opinion. This is number 13, Majesty for the Realm. Totally underrated game, and it's interesting why certain games don't take off the way you think they would, right? Majesty for the Realm is from the designer. I think is it Marc Andre? Yeah, it is Marc Andre, designer of Splendor. And I remember my buddy Daryl got this. I'd never heard of it, and he said, "You know what?" Daryl's thing was he thought that Marc Andre saw the success of Century Spice Road, and people were saying, "Oh, that's a Splendor killer," and then he came back with his own version of it. I really like this game. It's fast. It's got a similar mechanism to Century Spice Road, where you can take certain cards and you put your meeples across here as you try to get to the card further down the line, and then if you take a card that's earlier in the line, you can take any meeples on there because those help you do things. But this one's definitely more interactive than Splendor because there's a little more take that. You're building a tableau of cards here, these buildings. Then you get these characters. The characters, you have your tableau cards where you're building a tableau of characters, and those characters trigger the buildings. So for instance, this building here, I think this is a German version. I don't understand those. So this one here, you have wheat. You're going to get 2 coins per wheat character they have. Then you have, like this one has the barrel here, and or the cask of beer or root beer or whatever you want it to be. You'll get $2 and a meeple for every character here. And then the other players get stuff as well. Really clever game, totally underrated. I love this every time I play it. And all the different characters, there's one with like a knight that will injure one of your characters. They have to go to the infirmary, and then there's a way to unlock them. You can also have shields to block against those attacks. Really fun game. I enjoy this one immensely. I got to play this with my friend Lydia out in St. Louis. She took me to Miniature Mart. I had no idea Miniature Mart was in St. Louis, folks. I had no idea. And she's like, hey, do you want to go to Miniature Market? And I was like, are there? I just assumed they're in Florida. She's like, no, it's right. It's like 10 minutes away from where we're from the Stonemaier Design Day event. I was like, yeah. So we spent the entire day before Stonemaier Design Day, which was on a Sunday. We spent the Saturday playing games at Miniature Market. So shout out to Lydia for having me over. That was awesome. Okay. Mill Brewery. Oh, yeah, those are the names. Thank you. Cypher says, I really enjoy the game and think the mechanics are good. However, it is a fairly generic theme and just gets lost with every... Yeah, I think that might have been played into it as well. Definitely a generic theme, but fun gameplay. Totally fun gameplay. That's my number 13. Played last month, Majesty for the Realm. Number 12 coming up. This is another game that I played at in St. Louis with my friends, and there were some of the nice... Gosh, I was just talking about the Funkhausers. Wonderful people. Here's two more wonderful people, Alicia and Dwayne from Blackboard Gaming. I got to meet them in St. Louis, and the night before, so Lydia and I had played at Miniature Market a couple of games. Then we drove over to the Pieces Board Game Cafe in St. Louis, where Stonemaier Design Day would be the next day. But we went there anyways to meet Dwayne and Alicia, and we played games and hung out with them again. They're just wonderful people. And the game we got to play with them was Dive. I was excited about this because Rahdo was really fired up about this game. It is a game of transparencies. You're looking at these transparencies very top down, trying to figure out where turtles are, other sea creatures, and the dreaded shark. And then what you're going to do is you're going to place your tokens. Everyone's got a shield here. Tokens based on where you think everything is. If you think the shark is on level 2, for instance, and you put like a 5er there, then you're gonna, gain, go up on the little score track. It's a race to 23, I think, or 21 points, and whoever gets there first wins the game. So the more that you bid on the correct number, like the correct sea creatures, the more you'll go up. If you do not bid, if you miss the shark, if the shark gets you, then your turn is over. So you're trying to go work around the shark, and you can look at the transparency. It's tough because it's hard to see the depth of it, and that's the whole whole thing of the game, right? Is to try to figure out where these things are. It's like, I don't know, it's like not an optical illusion. It's really interesting. Here's your diver meeples. I think they're funny. They look like they're just like kicking it, like laying down, but they're like swimming and diving down. Very clever game. The only thing I can even compare it to is, actually I can't, because there's nothing that you look, I mean, it's got, well, we were just talking about Mystic Vale, those transparencies, but you're looking down trying to figure out, it's like a little puzzle. But yeah, this is Dive. I believe it's out now. Dwayne got it right before he flew, before they made it out to St. Louis. So I'm not sure available. Oh, no, actually it is available because he got it at his local gaming store. Looking similar to Ship Shape. No, actually, that's a good comparison, Board Game Span. That's interesting. No, because there's no like set collection. This is strictly like a race to 23 or whatever. So it's Ship Shape. It's a little similar where you're looking down and trying to figure out where things are. But yeah. Okay, let me see. So sorry, something just threw me off. What is this? Okay. Yeah. Cool. All right. Yeah, a little different than Ship Shape. Good Times Dive. Sorry, OBS was OBS looked weird for a second there. Okay, well, it says I'm still live, so still live. Okay, we got a dozen more games. We've got 15 minutes, so I need to power through this so we can raid John and Amanda. And so that was, oh, I forgot. Yeah, number 12, Dive. Did I not put that up? Maybe I didn't put it up. So number 12, Dive. Number 11, this is another game that I just talked about yesterday. And this was actually, and Fidelia, you'll notice this is also different, ranked differently. My number 11 is Super Mega Lucky Box. Phil Walker Harding, praise be. If you played Silver and Gold, this is very similar to it, just without the Tetris pieces. It's just straight up more like Gamers Bingo. You draw numbers, you write them down. As you fill rows and columns, you'll get bonuses, which trigger combinations, which is a lot of fun in this game. It's definitely more combo-y than Silver and Gold, but you do not have that puzzle element as well. So you take out the puzzle element, put more combos. It's just satisfying. And for a 20-minute game, it's such a big hit. It's been such a big hit with us. So in August, Michelle and I played the heck out of it. Then September, we didn't play as many times, but we did have a good time with our friends in Big Bear during our little staycation with them. That was a blast. I recommend this for a $15 game. It's a wonderful little filler. And if you like that type of really simple, straightforward roll and write or flip and fill, this is your jam right here. Super Mega Lucky Box. That was actually my number one. I loved it so much the previous month. But, you know, other games I played September were just a little bit better or a lot better. We'll see. So that is Super Mega Lucky Box, my number 11. Let's continue here. Number 10 is I feel like a classic. Yeah, because this game is like 14 years old. Oh, my gosh. Is that old? Wow. Yeah, it is. My number 10. Getting in the top 10, folks. Marrakesh. This is not the one that's being kickstarted now by Stefan Feld for like $1,000 or whatever it is. No, this is the OG original gangsta Marrakesh from Dominique Erhard. It is being published now. I know that it's a different publisher, right? It's been published by many companies over the years. I think it's Gigamech is the current publisher. Yes. My friend Daryl got this for me when he was in Vegas at Meepleville Cafe because I knew that they carried it. Folks, this is a roll and move game. I know the roll and move thing is not always looked upon as the most, it's not the happiest or the trendiest mechanism out there, but they do it right. Oh, there's so many different versions of this game. Let me see if I can find one that's, yeah, these are so different. The one I have looks like this. No, that's even that board's even, that's a different board. Okay, the one I have is similar to this. There's a customer, you roll and move them, and then at the end of your movement, you're going to place one of your carpets. You're trying to sell carpets to this person, and it's an area majority game, and then the player with the most money wins. You get money, so when a player lands on your color, depending on how many squares it fills, that's how many coins you're going to get. Then at the end of the game, you look at the board, and any square that has your color, you get points as well. It's a fun little game, and played this with Lydia, Dwayne, and Alicia, and they'd never played before. I think Dwayne might have bought the game that weekend because they went to Miniature Market later. We love it, and this one is so fun. It can be mean, but you know, it's one of those mean games that doesn't feel mean. At least to me, it doesn't. Oh, hi, Panda. There's the Panda, Amanda Panda. We're going to be rating you soon. Let me know when you're all live. And yeah, it's so mean, but it is. It's fun. Ben says Marrakesh is roll and F you. You know, yeah, that's one way of looking at it. So much fun. Yeah. And Ben also says, definitely good. Just the roll and move hides how much you choose in it. Yep. So true. And that is my number 10 game that I played last month, Marrakesh. Number 9. Let's get on to number 9 here. Yeah, I think we're going to be able to knock out these games within the hour. Thanks, folks. I didn't think I'd be able to do it because I tend to ramble. Number 9 is another game new to me. I had this on my wish list for a while, and thankfully I got to play it with Lydia at Miniature Market. Number 9 game is Parks. We borrowed this from the Miniature Market game library. Oh, by the way, when you're Miniature Market, you pay $5 to play any of their games in the library. They have hundreds of games, a lot of new stuff, and they have a great big playing area. And you can order food delivered there, or you can go out and come back, and your $5 is still good. It's awesome. So St. Louis, if you're ever in Miniature Market, highly recommend. Also, the store. I don't know how I did this, folks. I managed to get out of that store without buying a thing. I think it was actually, I know it was only because I knew I was going to be on the road to Gen Con, and I was really going to have a ton of games from Gen Con. I didn't know if I'd have any more room. I sort of regret it because there were some games that were on sale there. Almost every game at the Miniature Market store is on sale. 20% off, 30% off, 40% off, what, and so forth. Just like their website. It's tremendous. I mean, I'm so envious of people that live out there, because that would be a fantastic store to go to and make purchases. But anyways, we have some great stores out here as well. Let me talk about Parks real quick. I had only played Trails before. What the heck is this? It's like a custom token. I don't know what that is. Here's a Parks. I'd only played Trails. Michelle and I really loved it. That is like the little sibling to Parks. Parks is very similar to Trails. Trails distilled a bunch of stuff down. Parks is a little more robust. You got more things to do, more like missions that you can complete, and so forth. Still similar thing: resource management, hand management, and love it. It was fantastic, and I was very fortunate to get a copy with the expansion from our friends at Keymaster Games. I got to meet Jennifer and the team. Okay, let me guess. I didn't see this. Is this an Eric Yorko picture? Let's see. Eric? Yes, it is. Oh, no. Is that Eric? It says Eric. I don't know if this is. It is. Yep, there he is. Yep, I knew. I love his photos. But anyways, look how beautiful that is. Wonderful game. Highly recommend. That's Parks from Keymaster Games. Let's move on here. We've got about 10 minutes or so. And I want to talk about the next game on my list. Number 8 is, let me pull it up on here. We were talking about The Good Doctor earlier. The Good Doctor clocks in at number 8 with the quest for El Dorado. At this point, I mean, I should just admit the Good Doctor is my favorite designer. But then I say I also like Johnny Eclair, and I also like, there's just so many. But I love his games because of I've said it before. I'll say it again. I will say it again and again. Low rules overhead with a ton of strategy to them. This takes deck building, matches it up with a race game. I don't want to watch a video. Just want to show pictures. Matched up with a race game. You're just trying to get both your figures to the very end of the race to the long lost ruins of El Dorado, and you use deck building to go through it. Quick game, fun game. I mean, I love Knizia. I cannot speak ill of this game at all. It's wonderful. Highly recommend. I mean, come on. I recommend so many games, folks. Maybe I should be a little bit more discerning in my taste. I don't know. But thank you again for joining me. We've got a few more here. The next game that made my list, and I was surprised about this. I wasn't too sure about this. I played the most recent prototype. And I know we talked about prototypes earlier. This one is really close to being done. And this is number 7, Return to Dark Tower. I think I love this one more than I should have, only because it was on my Grail list as a kid. I always wanted the original, but we couldn't afford it. It was, even back then, I mean, right now, I think it's like 100, 125, 150. Yeah, I think like it's probably about $100 retail now. And that's what it was like when I was a kid. But thankfully, Restoration Games, we got a chance to try this, live streamed it for Gen Con TV. It was a blast. Cooperative game. You're ramping up. You're collecting potions. You're collecting weapons. Ramping your little crew up to take out the big baddie at the end. And it's such the toy factor, folks. I mean, come on. I cannot deny it. The toy factor got me. And it was a lot of fun seeing that little tower light up. And you've got all the different characters you can play. They have different abilities. Totally, I loved it. It was just like being a kid again. And that's what I love about board games. They really are a throwback to a simpler time, right? But yeah, that's my number 7, Return to Dark Tower. Let's go on to my number 6. And what is my number 6? Oh, okay. Number 6. Oh gosh, I fell in love with this game. First time I played it, because it was another one that surprised me. And I'm actually rocking the hat right now, representing Ivy Games with Mythic Mischief. Mythic Mischief, they recently completed their Game Found campaign, raised over $400,000, I believe. It's an asymmetric abstract game at its heart. Okay, but it's got this really fun theme of kids, students in a middle school library trying to stay away from the tome keeper or the librarian, and trying to get your fellow factions, your fellow students in trouble with the Tome Keeper by having them having the Tome Keeper run into them. It's an abstract game. It's really neat. There's so many different abilities that you can use, ways to like manipulate the board and other characters, including your own. A lot of fun. I fell in love with this game and played it a ton last month. Some of it was for paid content, but a lot of it was just to play. I had a prototype, much more thinky than I expected. And my buddy Daryl was surprised too. So that's Mythic Mischief, my number 5 game in September. Let's move on. We got 5 more. We've got a couple of minutes. We're going to run maybe a minute or two long, but we will raid Amanda and John. My smoothie is done. Let me see. I'll catch up on comments just a minute here. We'll give him a minute. Should be good. Oh, Parks is great. Think I will get it soon. Yeah, Parks is wonderful. I haven't played the expansion yet. Looking forward to that. We'll bet that this one will be top 3. Love how ridiculous that tower is. Yeah, it's totally redonkulous. It's redonkulous, but it's fun. Herb said, "Oh yeah, Silver Metal just played the original, which is worth like $400 or $500. It's crazy. The update does look great." Board Games fan tempted Mythic Mischief, ended up deciding to wait for Reach Out. Yep, totally. I think you'll like it. Again, it's one of those things that it's way more complex than you expect it to be. Someone who worked a lot in Byzantine libraries. Yes, the student's behavior checks out. Nice. Number 4, friends. Thank you again for joining me. We are almost done here. Or actually, number 5. I forgot. We're not at number 4 yet. Number 5 is another new game I got to play at Gen Con. Thanks to our friends at DeVere Games. My buddy Marcelo, Luna Capital. Oh boy, this falls into. I feel like it's a recent trend of tile laying games that are redefining the genre of tile laying. You have your straightforward tile laying with the cards, but then you have tiles on top of that as well. It's spatial, and it's your tableau builder. It's got this cool little element of. Let me see if I can show it. No, they have any actual gameplay. I mean, these are nice photos. Don't get me wrong, but the gameplay it reminds me a little bit of Welcome to. Where you have to go in ascending order with your construction cards 1 through 10, but you also have tiles on top of those which you're trying to collect sets of, and also collect put them in the spatially right places. So in this example here, you can see like a 5 skips to number 8, and so forth. And there's different ways you can score all the different items. Really cool game. Really another in-depth game that's pretty easy to explain. I live streamed this with Bonzinator actually and Shay Parker on Sunday at Gen Con, and we had a blast with this. One funny thing, I made the mistake. We actually played on the solo board. There's 2 sides. We had a 3-player game played on solo board. So my bad, Shay and Bonzinator. Sorry. We figured that out afterwards. But yeah, really cool game. And that is my number 5, Luna Capital from DeVere. I feel like DeVere is coming out with some good stuff, and my friend, my buddy Marcelo that works there, he's great, but they did Red Cathedral last year. They do a classic game or older game called Holmes, Sherlock, and Mycroft, which I think is a little bit overlooked as well. It's another like simple worker placement game, but in the Sherlock Holmes theme. Fun stuff. Yes, Panda's also loving DeVere. Agreed. DeVere, lots of love for DeVere. That's good to see. And let's move on. I've got my number 4. This one was sort of tough for me to rank because I played it twice. I loved it. And technically we have the prototype, but I feel like it's pretty close to what it's going to be. But my number 4 is Verdant from Flat Out Games. We were just showing some love for DeVere Games. I think Flat Out Games is flat out killing it these days. Calico, Cascadia, Verdant. Those are the 3 in this line. Verdant may end up being my favorite. Hey, art by Beth Sobel. Of course, Beth Sobel always kills it. Beth is in chat. This one might be my favorite when it's all said and done, but I'm still on the Cascadia hype train. I love Cascadia. Verdant is a little more thinkier than the other 2. Calico was a surprising brain burner. Cascadia, or that was Calico. Cascadia was a surprising, a little more open world. Verdant, I think, takes the best of both worlds. I mean, it is Excuse me. So you're going to take a plant card from the top row, and then a room card from the bottom row, and then you're going to choose. You're going to take the token in the middle. So it's either this top row or this bottom row, and you're building a checkerboard pattern. So it's definitely more tricky than Cascadia, and I think it may be a little more brain burny than Calico. It is wonderful. I know Rahdo really. I think he said that this was his favorite of the trilogy. I don't know if it's an official trilogy, but I think this was his favorite. I really love the art on this, as always with Beth. We're big fans, but the gameplay is another. It's smooth, just like the other ones, but there are definitely more moments. At least to me, it felt. And Michelle was talking about this too. There were more moments, where it felt like we're like, "Ooh, what do we do?" Right? Whereas Cascadia didn't quite have that, and Calico does have that in a little bit as well. So many plants. Yes. Love this one. It's so good. So good. Let's see what everyone's here. Devere's dope. Red Cathedral is my jam, my ham. Red Cathedral. I got to throw that up there. Red Cathedral is his ham. But yeah, John's jam is Red Cathedral. Nice. So good. Hey, Michelle Ridge is in the house. Hi, Michelle. Hope you're doing well. I'm just talking about my games that I played last month, and I'm running a little long. We're going to raid Amanda and John just a minute here. So my number 4 was Verdant. Let's come out here to hello again, friends. Thank you for joining me. We are talking about my wrap up games played in September. We were talking about I played 20 different games, and we're at my number 3. This is another one from Gen Con that I just played, and just insta love. Friends, insta love. It is from Pandasaurus Games, The Loop. Oh my goodness, I got into this hobby and through a pandemic, the game Pandemic, a cooperative game. But as I'm in the hobby longer, I don't find myself playing as many cooperative games. I've run into the alpha gamer problem. Just sometimes cooperative games don't jive with me as much anymore. The Loop has changed me back. Has brought me back full circle. I feel I love The Loop. It's got a little bit of Pandemic where you're trying to put out fires, so to speak. And in this case, the little clones of Dr. Foe. But you're going around, and it's got this neat little tower where cubes come out. It's got that little toy factor again. You're doing a little set collection, hand management, but also a little bit of just a tiny bit of deck building as well. And what's cool is the cards that you get in your deck as you go around the little board here, they go on top of your deck. So you know on your next turn you're going to get them into play. Wonderful game, fun components. Hey, there's a cat in the box there. That's funny. Whose cat is that? Cindy Lee has a cat in there. Highly recommend this one. This is one of my favorite games of recent months. Actually, this year. I'm gonna put it up there. Definitely a top 10 for me. The gameplay is outstanding and puzzly, and it's tough. We lost our live stream game. I want to rematch it. And it does have a solo option as well. So that's my number 3. Let's move on to my number 2. I've got 2 more games to talk about. These top 2 were really tough for me to choose from. I went back and forth. Actually, my top 5 or 6, I rearranged a few times when I was doing this list. But my number 2 is Furnace. This is the one I played with Derek and Lazy Funkhauser for the first time. They taught me this game. Excellent, outstanding. One of my top 10 of the year, maybe even top 5. Yeah, it's up there. It's an engine building game, but plays so quickly. We played a 4-player game, a learning game, in about 40 minutes. This says 30 to 60. I can't see it taking much longer than that. Awesome engine builder. It's got this really neat thing where you're bidding on cards. Let me see if I can get a picture of the board here. Nope, that's just components. You use these bidding tokens, and you place them down here. If you win the card, the bid, you're going to take the top action, I believe, or the bottom. I forget. If you lose, you're going to take the top or the bottom action. So it's one or the other. So it's really neat because you're never sure, like, okay, I really want to win this, but sometimes I don't want to win because I want the resources, but I want to build this card, so I want to win that one or lose it. It's so awesome how they do it. It's 12 turns. It's like a 3-round game, 4-round game of a couple of turns each. Oh, it's so good. I love the fact that a game that has so many tense decisions can be played within 30 to 40 minutes. I absolutely love it. this could easily have been my number 1 or my 1A. Furnace from Arcane Wonders knocked it out of the park. It's awesome, folks. It's so good. And I can't rave enough about it. As I've said with a few of these games, highly recommend, but that has one of my highest recommendations. But my number 1 of the last month, I played this a ton. I also soloed it. I brought it to our Labor Day getaway. I also played it with friends during brunch last weekend. Michelle and I got to meet our friends for brunch. We played this. They loved it as well. My number 1 game that I played this last month is Cascadia. So good. Another Flat Out game. Flat Out awesome game from Flat Out Games. Randy Flynn's designer, Beth Sobel. Again, the art. Man, Michelle and I instantly fell in love with this game. We had trouble where I was like, after we played it the first time, we're like, ooh, this or a Calico. I don't know. But then the more we play this, like, oh, I just love the feeling of this. I love the outdoor theme. That could be part of it as well, why I think I chose this over Verdant. I like the double like tile lane that you're doing. You have your habitat tiles, you have your wildlife tiles. So many different ways to score depending on what scoring cards you choose from. It plays quickly as well. 4-player game with our friends at brunch this past weekend was 45 minutes, I think. And it just doesn't feel as constricted as like Calico does, or even Verdant. And that's what I like about it. You can always build out, right? And it's got that little bit of area majority as well as you're trying to build your habitats and stuff. I love that scoring. Wonderful game. Easily my top 3 games this year. Definitely top 10. It may be my favorite game this year, folks. We still have a couple of months left here, but I just love everything about this game. I love that it's another similar, like, hey, it's easy to teach, but there's surprising layers of strategy underneath it. Absolutely love it. My number 1 game that I played in September was Cascadia. And I forgot to give like a little, usually before the number 1, I do a little run through of all my games. So I'll do it quickly here. We talked about honorable mentions, Stonemaier Design Day, played a couple of prototypes there, really good ones that I enjoyed. My number 20, Reniture. Strike was number 19. 18 was Roll For It Deluxe. Deep Sea Adventure was 17. 16 was Fabled Fruit. 15 was Ship Shape. 14 was Canvas. 13, Majesty for the Realm. 12, Dive. 11, Super Mega Lucky Box. 10 was Marrakesh. 9 was Parks. 8 was The Quest for El Dorado. Number 7, Return of Dark Tower. Number 6, Mythic Mischief. Number 5, Luna Capital. Number 4, Verdant. Number 3, The Loop. Number 2, Furnace. And my number 1 game that I played last month, Cascadia from Flat Out Games. Friends, I want to thank you all for hanging out with me today. I really appreciate it. I'm going to catch up on comments here, and then we're going to raid John and Amanda. That's board in East LA. So please stay tuned. They are great. They're going to be playing, I believe, Dinosaur Roarin', right? And then we'll raid them in just a minute. Let me catch up on chat here. Fidelia talking about Cascadia, I believe, or Verdant. Doing that. Herbs, keep hearing great things from the Loop. I am really, I feel like Herb, I feel like you would really like the Loop, and I could actually see you and sorry, mine just went blank. I want to say David, but Eclectic Camel. I feel like you two could play that. I feel like it's made for you two to stream as well. Fidelia and another bust buy for me. Yeah, I feel you. Playthrough with you, Paul and Casey Sloman. Oh, thanks, Hornus. Appreciate that. Moved up high on my wish list. Yeah, Paul and Casey were great when we played this at Gen Con. Oh my gosh, Paula had a couple of really big turns. What I love about the Loop, it has that loop mechanism where you can like, as you play after you play your cards, if you're on the right space, you can spend resources, and then you can loop and like unexhaust your cards and do them again. It's really clever. Sir Bearsworth, what it do? Brand new booze. Good to see you on here, Sir Bearsworth. I think this was Ben was talking about small number of rounds with a tense feel. It's what I like about older style Euro game or older Euro style games. Yes, I'm assuming Furnace, right? So many choices to make. It's great. Yes, Sir Bearsworth. Would have been number 2, but Beth is in chat. AV True. Come on now. We love Beth, and yes, love Cascadia. Thank you, friends. Let's raid John and Amanda. Board in East LA. Let me pull that up here on Twitch. Turn off this. Go to this page. I hope you all have a good weekend, and I hope you join me next week. I'll be on the Dice Tower. Please show some love, and for the Dice Tower crew, I'm excited to play games with Tom and Z, and Sam will be back, and they've got a couple other special guests too. So I'm super excited about that. That's for their Autumn Spectacular, and that was Amanda playing. Okay, Amanda's live. Okay, cool. We're gonna raid Amanda and John. Thank you, friends, as always. Appreciate the support. Let me see if I can do this correctly. Stick around for the raid, okay? We'll see y'all in just a few. All right, bye.